I cannot serious for a moment, you know.
For a very brief moment.
Yeah, this is the Vibely Podcast. My name is Kofi Tagbo. And today we have people I have been looking for in the Catholic Church, and I thought I would never find. People, some I admire so much with my whole heart. Friends and family, ladies and
It's like we
gentlemen.
just become emotional. Is it? Why? What's happening?
What is that thing you meet when you meet your same mentor
Hey, wow.
or someone
Allow him to be
someone you
the
look up to? You know, my
Okay.
emotions are so up above the ceiling.
Hey, okay.
We have Aben and Bernard on the Bible podcast today. Make a hyper show. Charlie, welcome guys.
Yes,
Welcome
yes,
guys.
thank you.
So Charles, welcome.
Yes.
And I think from the angle we are on,
Mhm.
I'll do the best to welcome.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a greeting for the Bible podcast, right?
Okay.
It goes this way. You start this way, that way, and then you shake hands like that, and then you get it. So when I come with a punch, you open your arms like that.
Okay.
You get me?
Okay.
And then you give me a punch, and then we do the normal shaking. You get all right. So, all right. Nice one. Right. So you're welcome. So give it to him to let
Yeah,
you.
don't try with me, I'll miss it.
like that,
and then
Nice one. Right. So this is what we're gonna do.
Yes.
These guys, I don't want them to blow their own trumpet. They are going to tell us who they are and what they do. So I'll start with Aben. Aben, tell us who you are. Maybe the parish you form or the deanery. If you don't want to associate, that's fine. Myself, I'm a church prostitute. I go everywhere. So Aben, tell us who you are and then what you do.
Okay, so my name is Ebenezer Mensah. I'm a parishioner at St. Paul Catholic Church.
Oh, Pehe.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, like Pehe.
yes.
Yeah.
But Pehe has been Pehe like Pehe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now it's not paying.
No,
Oh.
it's still okay.
Anyway, Pehe, let's go.
So I'm from Pididini.
Okay.
What I do, I'm a banker by day, and then I do other things in the evening.
Let's go.
But I have love for God, and my interest first and foremost is in the interest is doing things for God. The other things that helps us going, maybe in the course of the conversation, they will pop up. But for now, we'll keep it.
You see, when it sounds that way, you know that there are other things making it sound as if nothing, like nothing. Things we do in the evening, like, hey Charlie. All right, so yeah, Ben.
Yeah, so Benajiwanu is the name. More of events person. Just like I said earlier, I don't form association, so.
So can he tell us maybe some events that he has worked
I
on?
went on a couple of
Couple means two. Let me correct you, Ben.
Okay.
And I know you've done like 1,000. So
Just mention a few.
I've done quite a number of projects, or I have assisted on quite a number of projects in the event space. Afro Nation, Global Citizen Concert, Afro Future, and the recent All African Games. I was there as the stage management person. I don't want to be forming association more often because I just have love for events. I just have that passion to be there. So even sitting in front of camera today is something for me because I always love to be behind the camera.
Okay.
Yes. But yes, we've been in the space serving and doing stuff for the church as well, which is one of the greatest things we do. People come to us and say, how much do you charge and all that. We don't like the money. We like to do it for the passion. That's all. Yeah.
they like the work.
We like the work. The work for Nami started with us. yes. So that's basically it. More of an events person.
Okay.
Currently a freelancer. Not looking for a job though because I have few projects I'm working on like now. So if you call me, I'm sorry, I can't come to. Yes, that's me. Yes.
Welcome to the Vibely podcast.
Yes. Thank you.
So for those who don't know, Eben who is trying to play cool and play all
Prim and proper.
Eben is the brain behind Brand with a Tree. Those people who do the tours and You see some 29. I've never seen 299 before. 699 as charge. 1099. They're going to Togo. They're going to Benin. Have you been to Benin before?
No.
They do quad biking and all that. Yeah, that's him. and
Yes.
and you know that show, was it a show? It was a rave.
Rave?
Yeah, it was a rave, like one of the biggest youth thing happening in Ghana. It was wild. Are you aware?
Yeah, I'm aware, proud.
Oh, that explains Akule Festival. So he's the brain behind Akule Festival.
I know. You're just waiting to say that one.
No, but he's
No,
I know. No, Ibn Mensa.
Festival.
No, Ibn Mensa. You know, sometimes
When you
Mensa.
attended the event, you wanted to ask him in what capacity is he organizing
Akule Festival, maybe for his girlfriend or something. Well. Charlie, you guys are doing great. But these are catalysts in such spaces.
Proud catalysts.
Charlie,
Yeah.
how has the journey been, and how did it start? How did it start for you, Aben?
I think everything has been, it's been church from day one.
Yeah.
Everybody who knows me knows that my journey in whatever space I find myself is been church. And courtesy the opportunities that we were afforded in the church. I mean, of course, you add that to the fact that we are curious human beings. We are always willing to improve on ourselves and all of that. But it's been church from day one. I always say this: there is no church on planet Earth that gives you the kind of opportunities that the Catholic Church will give you.
You are spot on. He's spot on.
In our church, so you can take the structure that we run in our church. So our church recognizes the fact that, you know what, let's have a youth council, let's have a parish council, let's have a priest council. Like everybody in the church is recognized in one way or the other.
Children's ministry.
Of course, yes, children's ministry. We would all argue about the sort of, space they give us to put our ideas and things across. But we don't deny the fact that the opportunities that we get in our church is like the biggest platform to learn, to develop everything I've learned. From events, from branding. People think, okay, you have the talent, you have the passion, but you see, it doesn't take just talent and passion. Those things must be honed. You must go through. There is a saying in the military: cassava is cassava, or it's not cassava until you put it on fire. For you to know that, okay, this is. So everything has been checked from day one, from Sunday school, where you are made to go and do certain things, put up acts, builds your stage, confidence and everything. You get to join a society. In societies, you get to do, programs. And what we used to do in our churches or in most of our parishes, say we are going on excursion, we form a small committee. You go, you learn. So those little things, have shaped me. And then I believe in one thing: it can be perfect outside. Charles can bear me witness in all our conversations. I always make this clear. I don't understand why I should go out there, put up like a very big event and expect things to be at a certain level. I think it should be the same in the house of God. It should be things that way.
It should be the same. Would come to that bit. I think that's the main topic of discussion. And your side, Ben.
Yes.
You are more of into the bigger stages, the production, big event. You've mentioned Afro Nation. You're telling me calm down. You can't tell me to calm down, bro. You mentioned all African games, and you're telling me to calm down. You're the stage production manager, bro. What are you talking about?
You see, that's why I don't want to form a system.
Well, yeah, you're part of the production team, right?
Part of the stage management
team. That's fine. People who don't want to take glory for imagine, Papa. Tell us how did you get there? Because this does not look like from the church space. How did you get there?
So, just as my brother said, the passion has always been there, and then we picked up all the way from the church. It's the same journey basically, and I always say this. Okay, the church is the only space, right, where if you play a role or you are assigned to perform a task, you can make mistake and you will not be reprimanded for it, but you would have the room to improve, right? And so based off that, I gradually learned few things, found myself actually in a dispatch company, in a biking company, a courier company, right? And I think my boss then realized how I'm able to speak fluently and write well, and he was like, "Let me put you as an outsourced rider to work with one company." So I ended up with DSTV as their outsourced rider, and shout out to Ansaki. She used to be their marketing head. So Anne also saw the potential. She was like, "Ben, you are good. You are limiting yourself to this biking thing, and you are exposing yourself to too much hazard on the street." So she reached out to my current boss, whom any day, anywhere, anytime. I
I never
actually
also knew you, man.
calm down.
After the current boss.
No, calm
current
down.
boss.
This man, just as you see Charles to be your word, right?
Okay.
I named my son after.
Oh wow.
That's
Wow.
how much
Wow.
that man means to
Wow.
me, right? Because when Ansaki gave me to Rudy, actually she gave me to Francis Doku, former general manager for TV3,
Yeah.
and then Francis Doku moved from the company. So when he left, Rudy took over. Actually, they were partners, but Rudy took over fully. And then working with Rudy for the past 7 years, not on a full scale, on a subtle scale. He has been like a role model. He has been everything you would think of, right? And so this man groomed me proper in the marketing, advertisements, events, planning, and whatnot. All these spaces that you can think of. This is where I learned all these event things from. Now, my boss is an interesting character that he won't spoon feed you with everything that you need to know as far as the event space is concerned. But what he does is he introduces you to people. So today I meet Eden. Maybe I'm with Charles, right? And then Charles introduces me to Eden and say, "Hi, meet Ben." Ben is part of my team, and then that's it. The rest is up to you to convince Eden for Eden to work with you. So that is how I grew up, and that's how he has been.
But I think that this tells us that the Catholic Church actually has a lot of people we've not been able to identify. But I want us to delve into today's topic proper, which has to do with branding and events in the Catholic Church. To me, from where I sit, events in the Catholic Church are one way, and when they come, they look so dull. And there is nothing catchy about it. So far, we've not really had much, so many events you can make mention of aside the Laudamoses, the Alabanzas, the very recent one. Saint Mark tried to do exhort, which really, I mean, he really didn't get any, like.
This your host is mean.
But
But
he was the MC, so that means he flopped it.
I didn't say it flop. My point is that it's not hit that name we would want it to hit.
You see, I know you are directing this question to Eben, but I just want to interject and say that no matter how small the project is, no matter how the show ended, just as you said earlier, it doesn't necessarily have to hit that peak for you to call it.
Oh no, Ben, I'm coming. That event was a great success.
Yes.
I mean, having there was Perez. No, there was I think was it MOG? There was Tego Sisters.
Yes.
It was wild. It was. But my point is that you see, we've not been in the Catholic Church. We've not been able to position ourselves to that level.
No, wait.
Yes.
Kofi, let me help you. You see, programs like you are mentioning, right? To me, I think it's the reverse. Those are rather the programs that are attempting.
Oh yes.
However, let's not forget that we have a number of programs, especially the yearly ones.
Yes.
Don't think youth, think the church.
Okay, in general.
In general, we are having this congress, we are having Kafka week, we are having Lady week, we are having, so in the broader space, we may narrow it down to the youth, right, where we have our World Youth Days and co. But I think these programs that you mentioned are rather the light.
I thought that was the understanding. I said aside the Laudamus, that was my word. Aside the Laudamus, I mentioned Alabanza as well.
Yeah.
Aside those programs, which has actually seen a good number of people mention, even aside Catholics, you get it.
Yeah.
We want to talk about these events and how to come at par with the others, like in the Catholic Church. How are we able to rebrand our events? Talk of the catechetical weeks, talk of the novenas. We just finished the whole Pentecost novena, and for some people it just came in passing and all that. How do we rebrand these events? I think Eben
I think from two angles. So from the church, as in Asorin Penifo, or let's say the church as it is, and then we as, say, part of the church. So from the church's point of view, I think that you see, I don't know how to say this, but
you are allowed to.
Here
is this platform, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I like violence.
The reason why I say that is because what, our church must open its her doors.
Yeah.
It's time we begin to see God's church as a kingdom business. A kingdom business here is not to enrich anybody, but how we move with the changing times. I mean, we know how it has taken us so long for the church in Ghana to get on social media.
Yeah. Very true.
So from the churches, I think that we should open our doors.
Not even social media, even traditional media.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk about traditional media. It's so painful to say that till now we don't have a TV, we are not dominant in the space.
Yeah.
So from the church's point of view, you see, when we go to most of our parishes, catechetical week, we don't know where it's from. We don't know who designs what.
Yeah.
All we hear is this coming week is catechetical week. The topics have been pasted on the notice board. Mr. Wine will speak. We should move with changing times, like the times that we are. These programs should begin to reflect the kind of people that we even have now. It's so easy to know that everybody we have now has a tablet. There's this saying on social media that the very day your parents discover YouTube and TikTok, that's the end of you in the house, because you have no peace. So how are we even meeting parishioners or targeting parishioners with some of these programs? So for me, the church must open her doors.
Yeah.
I'll give a classic example. There's a reason why St. James is leading evangelization in the new media in the archdiocese.
James.
There are when you and for me, apart from mass, apart from watching online mass, when we have programs, I go online to check. You see that there are people on. You get it.
Yeah.
But we are in the parishes complaining that people don't come for programs like Catechetical Week. But these people, we are the same people who watch online. You just have to make it available. It's the way you package it, or it's the way you are selling it. Isn't meeting my need. Times have changed. Before then, and I've told our priests severally, our parents used to go to work at 9. They closed at 2.
Yeah.
They had so much time on their hands. Our kids, or when we were kids, there were very few of us, except if you were DB like Charles, when you were
the debut of the day,
who used to travel to go to St. JHS.
Yeah.
Look, most of our kids now, we have to chauffeur them to school and chauffeur them back.
Yeah.
So there's even no time for kids who are supposed to be always be available. There's no time for them to say they want to come to church. We have to realize it is not a crime for people to say, people don't come for mass. How are we taking the message to them? So the church must open, her doors. There are so much we can say, but I'll leave it here. On our side, I think that we have also failed the church.
Okay.
It's sad. I'm a classic example. We have been off church for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes when we complain, I don't know if we had this conversation at one
Yeah.
arch meeting.
Yeah.
You get it? We realize that it's the same people, those who are available, they are the ones who do the stuff. If we decide to avail ourselves, he made mention of the fact that his boss is like a notable. See, if you take 10 notable people anywhere in the world, you are likely to get 6 of them to be Catholics.
Yeah.
The next majority will be Muslims. Then the rest will belong to other churches.
Yeah.
So everybody or every talent that we need can be found in the Catholic Church, and it is at like the zenith of it. It's not like just anybody. How do we avail ourselves? Unfortunately, we have all sort of reasons. I mean, not all of us can push and be persistent with whatever we think we want to see in the church. Not all of us can.
Even the space you can't even push so much.
I mean, if you push, you get some results. But it depends.
You can push.
No managers.
I mean, you can.
But then again, you know, we just have to do more. It's the thing about churches. You can't say never, or you can't say I won't do again.
Exactly.
Even though you are not paid salary, the bigger salary is getting to heaven.
Yeah.
And I say this to the glory of God. I say this to the glory of God. I don't think there is anything I've been able to achieve now that is not a result of whatever investments I think I made in church.
Exactly my point.
I am the first to admit, and when I was a mass server, I used to serve mass for fun, and I think the dividends are paying off now. So why can't we, like we do at our workplaces? They say when you knock on your boss's door, continue. We should continue knocking on the church's door. We are all corporates. If we do so, maybe we can bring. I mean, when it comes to branding and all of those things, for me, I have a different perspective to it. But the crux of the issue is from the church's side, how are they allowing people to function? And then from us as well, how are we availing us? I'm very sad to see, let's say, the Catholic Church is doing something, maybe Episcopal ordination or something huge, something major. And you look at a simple thing like maybe production. Even, in production, there are some things that are considered like
very essential.
No, not essential. You see graphics. And I sit behind my TV and I'm like, oh my God. But then again, we live for the challenges. Hopefully very soon things will get better.
Things will get better, he says. Ben, he's talked about, how we package them, other events. What are the things you've noticed about the events in the church? For me, it's sometimes about stages. It's very recently that we've seen lights in our programs. Sometimes they use this Maja stage B. What are the things you've realized about the event? Logistics.
Let me take it from the parish level, then we can transcend into the deanery, then we end up in the arch. Okay. So the parish level, if your priest gels with your agenda, you're good to go. My priest, for instance, we used to be an outstation. In fact, now we are a rectory. So my priest wasn't with us, but his assistant, who is more like a youth, Reverend Father Zita, he understood some of the things that we were looking at doing in terms of having our annual programs and also some of these church activities, right, like the catechetical week and all that. Father Zita would pick his phone and ask you and call you and ask you, what are you guys planning on doing? There's a feast coming up, there's a program coming up. What are your plans? And he has put us in the space where now we begin to think ahead because we know he's going to ask us, right? That's what I'm saying. If your priest gels with what you are doing, then you're on the safe side. Now, if your priest, I wouldn't say doesn't gel, but I would say if he doesn't understand what you guys are looking at doing or what you people want, that is where your problem is. That is where your problem is. We personally have gone past that place where I have to sometimes put in my own money, right? Invest. Just do it for them to see what you are trying to bring out. Just do it for them to see what you have, what you keep picturing. Listen, it got to a point, we have this monitor today we have a flat screen monitor, right? We used to have the hunchback. I carried my hunchback monitor and system unit to my priest's office, and I presented my youth in worship plan. Right, that was where I introduced the light experience, and even with the light experience, I intentionally gave him two options, but I had an option I was going to go with, which was the torchlight, the flashlight experience. But then I tried to incorporate the candlelight procession into the youth in worship, where everybody lights their candle. We turn off the lights in the room, and then it gives you that euphoria. It gives you that feeling where the Holy Spirit is present and all that. The question my priest asked me was, now saw candles is here now show be sorry them way. And I also asked him, now yeah candle light procession. Me saw candles. Why not what is a washi sorry them? And then just as we laughed about it, he laughed and said, oh, that is your comeback, you do it, you will see. So I went back. I was like, you know what? Let me do it for them to see what I am trying to, like, tell them. Lucky for me, just like my brother Eben, I have few friends in the church who also understands my motive. So I call on them. They bring in. It's just like the Avengers. Everybody comes with their energy. We put the show together. We record it nicely. Till today, we still have the footages. When my priest came for the show, like when he came for the youth in worship project, and then he realized what I was trying to pitch to him, that was when he was like, when is your next project? Right? And then we started bringing our plans, but it still went back to the norm, which is we have to put money.
So that brings me to
that's what I was waiting to say.
it brings me to, I want us to highlight some of the challenges that we as I would want to call ourselves creatives, because we are the people who think outside the box.
Yeah.
And thinking outside the box, thinking outside the norm, trying to bring out something new, calls for extra funding. It calls for something they've not really prepared. Well, let me not see that way. They are not really prepared for mentally. So in terms of sponsorship, I feel sponsorship is one of, like, is the key.
So I see where you're going. I don't know about Eben, right? But for me, like I said earlier, I like to do the Avenger style. What do you have? Rita has a camera. Rita is a photographer, right? What does Charles do? Charles sings in the church. What does Ben do? Ben is able to manage production. What does Kofi do? Kofi is an MC. Let's go. Further, this is what we are trying to do. This is the available resource that we have. We don't have the funding. We have reached out to potential people in the church who could sponsor us. Unfortunately, the funds are not coming in as we are looking for. Father, can you lend us your sanctuary? Our sanctuary is movable, like our altar is movable. So just give us the space. We'll put in some small funding, personal funding. We fund the project ourselves. We do some printing, and then we put it on the background. Finding myself in the event space, right? I'm able to get some few lights to put in there.
But not every parish is like Ben.
No, I'm just saying. Wait.
No, but
my parish is not like that too.
I'm saying you don't get. I get the Avengers bit. Everyone bringing something on board.
Yes.
Kofi, hold it. Hold it. You see, I'm sure if you ask Eben on the first edition of Akala Festival, did he get sponsors? You see, it's always like that. When you come out with a new concept, you have to run for a while before people now see that.
Exactly.
So if you are thinking that from the get go, you will get support.
No,
it doesn't even happen like that in the corporate world.
They don't understand your vision.
Yes, you see, you have to run for a while before they will now see. Oh, okay, so this is what, like you said, this is what you mean. Then the next one, or probably even the one after that, that's when the support comes. So I think that maybe we also have to be a little bit patient, and as Eben said, keep on knocking on the door.
Yeah,
it will open eventually. Hope they don't.
Well,
no, I mean it's not easy. But
so you said a bit. Let me hear from Eben's. The business is one of the deaneries. After Ignite.
Camp Ignite.
Yeah, Camp Ignite. We've not really heard much from Behe. what's happening there?
No, I don't. You see, let's be well.
No, we don't want to go there.
No,
But
let me talk.
okay.
Let me land.
All right.
They are
So
proud
you see,
Kenya- they are proud Kenya
after
children.
Camp
Yeah.
Ignite, the church
Yeah.
decided to sack some of us because we were too old. So
Oh,
that's
you were part of Camp Ignite?
No, I mean he's saying after.
it's a generation. I'm talking about.
Oh, the 30 thing.
Yes.
Oh, Charlie.
So it was. I think that the next year, right, is when they said that we should leave it to the small boys like you, who unfortunately. So everything you're saying, like that has been like it's handed over. But you see that what I want us to touch on having the benefit of people like Eben. You know, let's share ideas because we know funds will always be a problem. Let's not pretend.
Yeah.
We know that. You see, and what have we been fighting for? Let's not do real estate because real estate sucks all the money. So in the space where we find ourselves, can we share some ideas? You know, ask some little things that we can do so that we are
Yeah, so
so that we can make our event a little bit okay because sometimes some people they lack ideas, especially when you put inexperienced people in leadership, they lack ideas.
Please.
Even I'm sure will tell you.
Point of correction. Don't say inexperienced people because they hate to hear it, even though it is facts.
So you just say the same thing.
No. On this platform,
No,
I'm saying the same thing, but
Yes.
in a nice way.
No, they are inexperienced. There's no nice way.
They are not ready to accept the fact.
No. See, on
So
behalf
that's
on behalf of the inexperienced people, I'll say they are inexperienced. See, we all don't buy into the whole 30 cap thing,
Yeah.
right? We all don't buy into it. But
You know the 30 cup started from a rifle, right?
But I came into force
He
when
came into force here.
Yeah.
On paper, I think he came 2008. On paper,
On
but it
paper.
was never implemented.
Do you remember? Do you remember the question the master the lady asked? Do you
I
remember?
remember.
Yeah. So please let's continue. I mean, it was just by the way.
So we are sharing ideas on how to, for these inexperienced people, how to make events, the Catholic Church branding and all that better.
I a quick comment on the 30 plus or why PHDB has been sleeping.
Well, you can touch on
Well,
that.
PHDB is not sleeping, but it's just a reflection of leadership. The kind of leadership we have, and it's from nowheres.
Yeah.
It's from the top, from the priest to
Spot on.
Yeah.
to
You are spot
we
on.
the lay people who have positions in the deanery, because when we were there, and it's not to say we did so much, but we had like support from the top, and we also applied ourselves,
Exactly.
and so we did a lot.
No,
We
but
did quite a
he
lot.
did so much because
Eben
at
did
the
a
time
lot.
Eben was the junior president. I was also junior president. Eben is the only person that gave me a run for my money. Everybody else. Eben is the only person that gave me.
Kept you on your toes. Oh,
Yeah, Eben is the only person that gave me a run for my money. Every other junior was
They were just sleeping.
yeah. So Eben has done a lot. So I'm sure he's trying to be
But
humble. Don't
my
mind.
Poppy is really coming up these days.
These days, but
Yeah.
not if you compare it to I want to use the tone that Eben and Co said in their times. You see, I don't even talk about how much money he himself invested in the deanery when he was
Exactly.
president. Let's not even go
Right.
there. But it's about the sense of ownership and the sense of leadership that
Exactly.
they exhibited in their time. Yes, they are coming up, but there's still more to be desired.
So as I was saying, I think everything that we are doing now, everything that you see at say Akble Festival, or say on Date with Nature, or some of our corporate clients that we deal with, it's something that we used to do back then. I always tell my team, like, and I have to say this, Brand with Tetra is a group of individuals. We are 18 in number. They are all from church.
All
So
Catholics, yeah.
all Catholics. So just like he was saying, it's just pulling the identifying the talents,
the Avengers
just
now.
bringing them
Let's go.
together. Let them understand the dream, and they'll give you results. But then back to your question of what we can do. How can we bring
I think you've answered. That's the first point. Identifying people
who
in
have
the
the
church who can help, who have certain
qualities and they can
qualities
bring it
and
together?
skills and can.
I'll say this because we are discussing the Catholic Church. Let's not be shy to learn. In our church, everything is like This is how we do it in our church.
Thank you.
That is the problem. And
That's
I'll,
what's in the beginning.
It is now.
yeah,
Well, without saying.
I am one person who is, I am well read, and I know a lot of things.
Yeah.
By a lot of things, I'm very curious. I can tell you what happens in, say, a minimum of about 10 churches. And when I say tell you what's like, I understand their processes, how they, because I see church as business. So you have to understand what your competitors are doing.
Exactly.
When we set out to do Camp Ignite, it was modeled around what Royal House they do for their youth camp. They usually will gather at, say, Legon, the Legon, the stadium, as it were before. They build tents and all of those things. And I'm asking myself, if they can gather about, and they have like 4,000-5,000 people. I'm like, no, this is the Catholic Church. For the records,
We can always do.
for the records, maybe Charles doesn't know, but we sent over 400 people to Camp Ignite. At a point, Father Kujo had to tell the priest, like, we had to beg people to stop registering. We had over 400 people at. Can you imagine that we are busing all those people from Accra to Kumasi on a camp? But
So
that
400 or 4,000?
400.
400.
4,000. But then you see, the thing is, let's not be shy to learn. It's okay for you to see, say, greater works.
Yes.
And ask yourself, what can I do or what can I learn to make my events better? I mean, after identifying people, you should be willing to learn. And once you are learning, you'll be exposed to what modern trends are.
Exactly.
How do you make your event a top one? I'll say this. Every time we organize an event, when we were in PA, every year we tell ourselves we would have to go above what we did. I mean, we're the only people giving competition to Alabanza then.
Yes.
People have forgotten, but Fides Benedictus, our first edition with Celestine Donko, I mean, was an absolute blast. You get it. But then again, we realized that in our church, when you are trying to be innovative, you are met with a lot of roadblocks. I remember the first day we made a presentation in church to PPC, and back then we used to have a system where we have technical committee meeting. It comprises of members of PPC, members of finance council. So you have to always go and defend your budget.
Exactly.
Our first time we went to defend a budget for Oh Holy Night, and by the way, your brother was the one who named Carol's Night Oh Holy Night.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was Bafo.
Okay.
So we went there to defend Oh Holy Night, the budget, and we had, say, lights. And we are like, why are we paying 2,000 or whatever for lights? Can't we get our light person in the church? We have fluorescent bulbs, we have halogen bulbs, and
They don't understand.
but you know what? I always say this: know what you're about, and it applies in everything. Know what you're about, and be willing to defend it at every time. So they realized that no, if they don't give it to us, we will not do it. So we struck a deal. You know what? If you can't finance our budget, give us 50% of the budget. 50% will be on credit. When we raise funds from the event, we'll pay it off. They agreed. When they saw the event, Mr. Baiga then was the finance. He walked up to us and said, how much are they supposed to give us? They gave us the balance and we returned the collection. But my point here is, so it is just not enough for you to say, oh, we want to be innovative. You have to make sure that you see it through and make sure that it works at a certain level. Trust me, when I saw Weekend Summit those days, I always used to ask myself, wow, so it's doable. Like, it's not like it's so difficult to do. But if you put in some bit of effort in the creative side, you get people to buy into it, even priests. I wanted to cite an example of the drama the priest staged. After just one, it's gone moot. And by the time you realize it dies. If we want our events to see the day of light, we must just be willing to learn. We must be creative as much as possible. We must know what modern times demand. Up till now, they are still, and I don't know, one of our conversations, we're talking about the fact that stage and all of those things. My church, they still don't understand why they should go and hire a stage. because they have welded some
outside mass.
what we used for the first crusade ever in the archdiocese.
Yeah.
When the
Wow.
first crusade ever in the archdiocese was
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
front of then it was yes in front of that stage.
Yeah.
They
That's
said,
what
they
they
said-
want you to
they
use.
said that stage is there, so why are we not using that stage? And then we have to explain to them that no, the kind of stage we are talking about is in this dimension. This is the
Yeah.
purpose it serves and all of that. It's very difficult, but if we want, we just have to be willing to learn. The template is out there. You don't
Yeah.
need to overthink it. If you want to see how, say, Pentecost Novena, how do you make it? Let's go around. Look at Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do?
Mhm.
Because they are more modern and more current and more
Yeah.
creative. You see, for some of these churches, what we fail to realize is they are like trying to feed on our members, and
Yeah.
so they have to go over and above themselves to attract us. We are born into Catholicism. Very few of us will say, "I've stopped Lighthouse. I want to go into," but we are born with it. So they have to do so much to be able to attract us. And so if you realize, they put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
They are deliberate
And money,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Why is Alpha Hour selling?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we have midnight prayers as Catholics.
Yeah.
We have one of the best prayers you can ever think of, the Angelus.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling when I pass by a Catholic church, like the cathedral, my office is closed, and I hear the bell go off because it's the Angelus. How are we able to modernize these things so that people can buy into it?
Yeah.
We just have to open ourselves and learn and not feel too big. It's not so difficult. I mean, I one regret, maybe we'll get to do it someday. Before we left Kwehedini, the following year, we had a concert planned, and unknowing to you guys, we were planning like the biggest Catholic concert in the whole of Ghana. We're bringing Nathaniel Bassi.
Yeah. I think you mentioned
Yes,
that to me.
we had spoken to Nathaniel Bassi, gotten his calendar. He usually comes for Greater Works in August. Greater Works is in August. So he told us that, you know what, if you want me to come, book me around that same time. It makes it easy. He's not paid, he doesn't take money. And it was going to be at the National Theatre. Our plan then was to make or give the opportunity for the Catholic Church to appreciate the impact of music or investing in music.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to put on Nathaniel Bassi and get people like Peter Uso and Sir Andrew Joshua. They will be like the supporting acts.
Exactly.
And you see the sort of, and we wanted to get, then I think Bonaventure had come, His Grace had come fresh. So we wanted him to be there. Like,
To
we wanted to own the National Theatre and make it like another.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the idea is still in our head because they sacked us. So,
The fact really has affected
That had to come.
Yeah.
See, we would see that thing come to fruition very soon.
The coincidence is that Eben did 110, also just did 110.
yes.
So
Charlie,
any success also that we're going to achieve, it was just the
Just
110.
110. And
So you
then-
can imagine if they had if we had a 110.
and then, like Charles said, there was like a certain wave
Yeah.
because
see,
we had the priests
Charlie,
who were willing to
yeah.
support
Eben,
us.
make you no make a ball. See, a lot of things are dead because of this thing.
Yes.
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 No, that's very true.
After Charles,
No.
whoever succeeded Charles, whoever messed up.
Kofi Abeg.
You see, that's the challenge. You know, it's no fault of theirs. And that conversation, I made it aware when we went for one of these arch meetings. Eben is working. When I was deanery chair, when we did World Youth Day, and we sent, let me say this, we printed merchandise, shirts,
Yes. Yeah.
caps,
Yeah.
and we sent to say an outstation in Ajinkutuku or Media, those places. We sent shirts, and they were supposed to sell and bring it back. I'm not saying anybody squandered money, but people will call you from media. You don't know any person, like anybody, and the person will say, "Oh, chairman, the person may share shirt in the 5 CDs." So we put our monies into it to make sure things were running. Let's assume after me, Ben comes, and Ben is not employed. You say Ben is under 30, he's just starting his working life.
Yeah.
He doesn't have so much to invest.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have money, you might think that he's a flop. And I'm not holding brief for them. I mean, there are other challenges that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, if we want people to flourish as leaders,
You need
we
experience.
must know what time to put them. When Charles was chairman of, I know most of the weekend summit you were paying for people.
Of course.
Youth in worship. What if you
Which
worship?
Hey.
Youth in worship. If you don't follow some,
You can once
You know Camp Ignite. Camp Ignite.
yeah.
one of the most humbling experiences for me
Mm.
was when one person called me for one of those outstations. I think I've been night. I've forgotten how much we charged them. Person called me and said, "Only but
Opesoko.
Opesoko." I think I said, "Oh, go." Then they registered. When we got to Camp Ignite, the person walked up to me and was like, "Oh, who said you're on Damasi?" Like, you get it?
So fulfilling.
Yes, there are so many things that
Yeah.
that thing has got. Unfortunately, it's not. Maybe we can have another discussion of how the church can. But then again, leadership is key.
It is.
Leadership is key.
Yeah.
If we have the right leaders, we had a plan that Charles will become arch-president. I'll be his vice. When he's gone, I'll be.
Today's the friend is actually making a plan. So there was a plan.
There was a plan.
That he
Yeah.
that he was talking about.
It was very curated, right?
He cooked that plan. There was a calculated plan for us to.
A revolutionary
We would be
guy.
sitting here today.
Well,
No, it would have been from where I'm sitting. Like it would have been something different. Like the Catholic Church would have been something different
Yeah.
from where I'm sitting. I was PYC chair for a term, and the only thing I could probably say that I bought for my people was Wachi.
So you are part of the problem.
No, I'm not part. I'm on the board. I'm a student. I don't have much. I just have
Exactly.
ideas,
Event point,
you know.
right?
But we're still talking about the
Yes.
ideas on how to make the events better, and I think that you'd want to share some.
I mean, in the events, it's very difficult. Okay, challenges you come across mostly is the key is funding, right? Aside the funding, I mean, this platform allows it. Our priests are challenges, like most of them.
And yeah, come on, do it me. I can. Don't worry.
Our priests, like they are the headache of the whole thing. If you are able to go past these priests and the blockages you come across, you are fine. Imagine you have a team, right? The Avengers ready to roll out with your implementation plan and everything, but then your priest will be like, "Yeah, sorry, honey, and then and the annoying one is when he's transferred from a different parish and he comes to your parish, and now he wants you guys to go his way, right? So let's say I want to just give an example. The festive season, Easter. A new priest comes to your church and he's like, yes, but or let me just go down mass service. You're supposed to genuflect here, you are not supposed to kneel. Do it like this. And you see, they don't just say it and leave it like that. They make sure. And see, open at least nanka the idea now banner when we say, okay, this is how or this is what you wanted him to understand, and then you're able to achieve it. He will not allow you. So our priests are the major challenges. People in the church also who are well to do, okay, that you can easily tell, say, this guy, if I walk up to him, he'll be able to help you, he'll be able to support you or the project that you guys are working on. This person will tell you that you to sorry no.
Michael, let me look at you. I think you see, on that one, I don't blame them. It still comes back to the priest. The sort of system you run in the church is father say.
Father say, and
If father believes in your dreams, everybody who has money will be willing. This is why father will pick a phone, and call Charles and call Aiden and say, you know what, my youth are doing this. We need you to contribute. Once they do this, so yes, I don't know. You see, these people too, you must understand. I'd give an example. Most of these people that we see in church and we say they are well to do mostly have a lot of responsibilities in the church.
Oh yes, very true.
So the person is torn between, you know what, St. Vincent de Paul will come and see me, and these things are like personal commitments that they have. When there is harvest in the church, I'm called. Then the youth also comes to me. But if you have a priest who is well, like, understands
oriented,
the business of the day,
on the new,
they have a way of doing it. They know people they call for. And I'll give an example again. When we went to Camp Ignite, I remember so well. We had run our budget in excess of about 18,000. Right in our presence, Father Kujo picked the phone, called this person, called this person, called this person,
and raised the money.
This person. He came to Camp Ignite with the money. He was actually very incensed because we had overrun our budget.
Mhm.
But when he got to Kumasi, Mamponting, and he saw what we had done, he said, you know what, it was worth it. But next time we'll do better.
Yeah.
So I can understand when people blame until we all grew to a certain level. We never understood. We always thought that, oh, go for a chess or sorry, but you have no idea.
No, but you see,
But sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Like, in as much as during our time,
Yeah.
we used to work very hard. Let me say this: the priests who were the chaplains of the deaneries at that time. To me, I always say that Father Melvin is one of the reasons why Madam John was successful. Because Father Melvin, Father Salifu, and Father Kuji were competing among themselves.
Oh.
That's what happened. So they were given their school pressure. Because they are classmates and they are friends, and they also understand their agenda.
They are more like the new
Year
dating.
group, no.
Year group now. So they are competing among themselves.
Yes.
Hey, my junior share, when you do that program. So Father Melvin will allow you to even let the program go. He will call you that, hey, what's happening? You know, like, come to my office, let's meet, let's discuss.
Exactly.
You know, so the priest, as
Exactly.
is saying, the
My Father Zita.
Charles and I are products of Father Duboli's system. Even then, Father Duboli will call you. That was the first system, and in terms of even corporate governance, Father Duboli taught me how. He said, the youth, before the year starts, present your program. Add a budget to it. So that when they are planning for the year,
you
have
your budget.
And then during the year, if let's say 20,000 has been approved for you, when you come, you just have to come and justify. Then the funds are available.
Exactly.
They make it available to you. So if, that point, we will say it over and over again. If the priest understands and is willing to engage parishioners to do what is right, things will always be better.
Just as there's an age cap, the 30-year age cap, right, for we the youth to step aside for the young ones to take over. You know where I'm going with my question. Can our priests also be given an age cap for them to so that the young ones?
There was actually a suggestion. Okay, there's been suggestions on youth pages on we having a say in the selection of our priests in the deanery.
No, at this point, we don't want to have a say.
No, in the selection of chaplains for the deanery youth council.
Okay.
And it's not been well received. It will
never be well received. You know why? It will never be well received because you cannot tell a headmaster what you want to do as a normal.
Actually, you see, on that point, like Kofi said, it was met with bishop. But however, we all know that Rome appoints a bishop, right?
Yes, Rome does.
But doesn't Rome write researchers to seek their mind?
Yes,
before they
maybe they already have
this is what you're
they have a lot of consultations.
This is what you are missing.
Before.
I see. For me, I don't believe in fighting the establishment.
Exactly.
What I think is, being youth or being youth oriented is really not about age. And there was a reason why I brought in the Father Duboli example. If you understand that your church has to grow, once your youth are vibrant, the church grows. And there are so many examples in the archdiocese of priests who are not even young, like very old priests.
Yeah, but they vibe with the
Father, I'll say very Reverend Father Rino say Tutu.
Yeah.
He's interested in, and you see, we are not. I think the point must be emphasized.
Yeah.
We are not even saying that everything must be about the youth. I am all for being in charge, like taking the church like an enterprise, the parish. Our pastoral needs is one of those.
Yeah.
And under our pastoral needs, there is the youth development. Then there's the social bits. There's all of those points or all of those touch points within the ecosystem must be well harnessed.
Exactly.
So that we don't go to a parish. What is happening in the archdioceses or most of our churches, even within the Catholic Church in Ghana, is that every time the youth, we see ourselves on one side. Most of our parish priests see themselves on one side.
The other side. Yeah.
Funny enough, any program that we organize, it's not like we're asking Father money to go and organize a play festival.
No.
I'm asking money from Father to organize a program for the church.
Yeah.
And once people are coming, he pay. There was a model we were running. Every program that's organized by the youth is what everybody wants to attend.
Yeah.
So at a point, and then that was when we're transitioning from very Reverend Father Ted Nelson Ajakwe to Father Peter. When the church has a major program, they let the youth organize it. because once the youth is organizing,
And
everybody
they know that
will be
yes,
willing to
people
come.
would come.
So if you understand your dynamics, you just go with the flow. There are churches where there are certain programs that are reserved for the youth. Some are reserved for. That is why one of my biggest disappointments is how we run the arch, our arch, say youth system whatsoever. I don't think
the
that we
youth
should
front,
have.
right, on the assistant level.
Yes, we should have a youth front at the archdiocese who are interested in becoming a society. They are also organizing programs like, say, Queen of Peace, or let's say Saint Mark. It's my wish that they influence decision. They are coming out with policies. They are engaging because they have, what people don't know is they have first-hand access to the bishop at any time. Even when we had Palmer Bakel, whom we thought didn't listen to, Charles, the then could walk up to him anytime. So a singular decision, like imagine the youth up there are able to say that, as a matter of policy and principle, every church in the archdiocese should go online, and it will be facilitated by the youth. What do we do? Let's go into deaneries. Let's recruit, say, all the PYC organizers with their assistants. Let's train them on simple things, how to set up during COVID. How are we recording masses, or how are we streaming masses? On how to just set up a phone. Then based on this, we say that it becomes a matter of, even if for logistics, for challenges with logistics and all of those things, let's have every Sunday one of your masses must be online. So imagine you go on Facebook, then mass, you just use maybe hashtag Sunday mass. Look at the sort of content.
The number of churches you have in the country.
That's why I say from the churches side, we must open our doors, and from our side too, there's so much that we can do.
There's so much to be done.
What you said, it's opened my mind on a lot of things. You see, when it comes to this thing about the online bit, right? It's just an idea, I believe.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of school of thoughts around that thing. Some people think that, some priests think that if we have online mass, people don't come to church and collection.
They would ask you.
You see, I don't attend St. James.
They will ask you, what's online mass now? Better communion or laptop now TV and so on.
No, you see, that is us always looking for an opportunity to say that it is not possible. I'm not a parishioner of St. James, but for some funny reason, when I can't attend mass, I'm actually in school. I go to school on Sundays. You see, let's look at the positives. Even when there was nothing like social or traditional media, then people still don't come for mass. See, let's situate like. Let's try to understand the realities of the times. Charles used to live in Newtown, where Tesano, right? It was closer, or it was easy for him to come to Pehe. I used to live in Newtown. It was just like a 5-minute walk to church. I live at almost close to Pokwase now. So definitely, I will not move to Pehe to go to church. Those are the realities that most of our traditional churches then are facing. Population dispersion has affected us. A lot of people have moved. And like I said, now most of us work Monday to Sunday or Monday to Saturday. Sunday is the only time you get for family. So it's sometimes, genuinely, it is very difficult for you to say, you know what, I want to go to church. But then I ask myself, how is my church reaching out to me? COVID was a perfect test. Some parishes were shut throughout the whole period. I remember when we did, during COVID, we were streaming. We were using phone to stream. And we did hymns and its meaning. I don't know if you remember. Yes. Do you know Father Salifu called us from Rome and told us that, see, we have no idea the sort of impact we have done with just that program. Because people were in their homes and they just wanted to hear the sound of how, just something little. And it comes by, it even addresses the issue of branding and then how we can take our events. Let's know the times and design things to fit it.
Even with that social media presence, it makes the outreach wider.
No come to church how? That's for collection, it's not a big deal. And the Catholic Church, we don't have issues with money. No. You just take a cursory look at how many buildings or churches of like real estate the church is involved now. You just look around. Every 6 months, I stand for correction, a new outstation pops up. Within 2-3 years, they put up a church building. And there is a subtle competition amongst ourselves. Now every parish wants their altar to look like
Yeah,
some kind of way.
modern.
So when it comes to money, I think we
No
have
problem.
issue. If you are a priest and you decide to run things the way it's supposed to, money is not a problem. I mean, it's the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not a problem. I've not been to any church, even in my church, where they are malata people and
Mm-hmm.
see
Yeah,
when it comes
the
to
market
giving,
women and all that.
a woman, like a market woman, will walk up to you and say, "I've not paid my dues for 2 years. Please, I want to pay." That's how committed we are to the church.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't think money is a problem.
Well,
And
I mean that's not my thought. I'm a media person. I would love to see the check, but that's the school of
Yeah.
thoughts. And I think we've discussed to have this conversation properly in soon time. We've really gone past our time.
Sure.
We want to wrap up, right? We want to
Okay,
wrap up. So
yeah.
we'll take your last words. It would have to do with anything on your heart, anything you want to say about our media.
Our dear priests, we are coming to
You
you
went
from
right
a
there.
very humble place, but with a little bit of violence.
Oh my goodness!
Please open your doors to us. Allow us to share our ideas. If you do not understand, give us the room to try and convince you. Give us the platform to exhibit what we have. And then when you have the bigger picture, convince your fellow priests, convince fellow parishioners who are able to pump money into the same project that we do to help the same church. These and many more we ask in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, amen.
I mean, I think that we can do better as a church, and this is a challenge to the youth, the
Yeah.
Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the kind of youth we have now are not like our type.
Mm.
They easily give up.
Yeah.
If they talk to you,
Oh yes.
That's something you do.
they easily give up.
They easily give up.
What was his language earlier?
This one.
Yeah.
He has already done. But
Yeah.
they easily give up.
They easily
are not.
give up.
They don't
Yeah.
have.
I
So they're coming at me, bro. they coming at me, bro.
But you know, let's not give up. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
greater fulfillment than working in the house of God.
Yeah.
There's no greater fulfillment than that. Even though, like I said, you are not paid for it. I'll cite one example. The first time we did Oh Holy Night, that was when Bafo,
Yeah.
I mean, was like, oh, in his church, I think they call it Silent Night.
Mm.
So let's change
Mm.
it. And by the way, tell him he's on excursion. He'll come back to the church. So you know what? We did everything, and then we said, how can we make it different?
Mm.
Yeah.
We said, we know what? Let's bring the Oh Holy Night outside. So if you know how Bay is, there's a staircase
Yeah.
entering into.
Yeah.
So we brought the event outside. We made the staircase the stage. We built an extension.
Mhm.
And people sat around. We said, you know what? There's the chalice. Yes, the chalice.
Mm. Mm.
Or yes, the chalice. We want people to sit in that. So it's like when the chalice with the host. So that was our inspiration in building the whole set. Sit like a family, and let's have a holy night. Ourselves, myself, I was the lead execution at that time. Father Salifu, our youth chaplain, Pascal, our chairman. We went through all that. It was very hectic. And you can imagine it was a Sunday, a Monday, some of us had to go to work. We sacrificed everything. When everybody had left, and because there will be mass the following morning, you have to make sure everything is
You
clear.
dismantle.
So we stayed with the carpenter to dismantle, do everything. The executives on that day, we sewed like white shirt, like wore some sort of uniform. Oh, that we're all dirty. Father Salifu sat with us. We sat on the staircase at the main entrance. We looked at each other. Nobody had paid us a dime, but the sense of fulfillment we had at that time,
Yes.
it was beyond. It was beyond because
Yeah.
when you do some of these things, you touch hearts. And I say this: those of us who don't pray as much, this is a form of prayer.
It is.
It's working for God.
It is.
So I want to challenge our youth. Let's keep pushing. For those of us who are away to, we'll come back sometime.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll keep
goodbye.
All right, so our executive producer Charles, tell us something.
Okay. I didn't really want to say anything, but I think that the conversation has really gone in depth.
I think at this point you need the microphone, no?
No. I think I'll project.
Okay.
See, I'll just pick on what Ben said. The template is already there.
Yeah.
The template is already there. Let's humble ourselves and want to learn. There are certain things that if you want to succeed in this game, you have to do. And it's how do I take this program to the next? It's thought.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't like to think. So we like to do assembly,
Mhm.
production line.
Mm.
Last day they say, oh, let's do the same thing. And when the people are not responding, we are complaining. But we need to deal with the times,
Mm.
and we need to put in effort, and we need men and women to stop shying away from some of these things. Come on board together, we can make it happen.
Together we can make it happen. And myself, I think that I've really learned on the whole bit of bringing people together.
Yeah.
That's what I do, and I think everything actually boils down on the priest. Actually, in the podcast, if you're a priest and you've watched, you'll understand that we mentioned a couple of priests who are doing great. Just be like your colleagues. It's not too hard. Well,
That's the way one kind of simple, so I know the problem. Okay,
no, it's really not too hard. I mean,
Yeah.
you would admit that the youth are leaving, and the Catholics, when Catholics go to other churches, they are doing great stuff there. That's because you are being pumping wherever you are. My name is Kofi Tagbo, and this is where we end on today's episode of the Bible Podcast. We discussed branding and events in a Catholic church, and we had with us Eben and Bernard. Thank you so much for joining us.
And kudos to you guys. I
Yes.
mean, this is actually the sort of branding and sort of thing we want to see in a Catholic church. We would have thought that we'll have, let's say, a group of young people then sitting
Mhm.
discussing the church and to even go and mention names. I mean, the first time I saw it, I mean, I sent
Yeah.
a message. And always
Yeah.
proud to know that people are doing
Yeah.
this.
Oh, we'll love to have you guys come back.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely, I would come back. Thank you for having us, though. Charles. I mean, I told him I didn't know about CSM. I just saw it pop up in one of my feeds, and then I was like, bro, what's happening? I said, don't worry, I'll bring you. He said, yes. Now that we are here, we'll do what to come.
Yeah, Charlie.
And shout outs to Rita on the background. Rita, and we are waiting for you to come and sit down one day. Let's discuss. Rita from POP. Your people need to see you on this platform, so please. Yes, we are waiting for you.
Right, thanks so much. I'm already introduced myself. So please do want to follow us on all our social media handles at Calix for social media on Instagram, on Facebook. Charles is smiling. He thinks I'm going to ban this time. I'm not going to ban.
But every single time.
Follow us on X formerly Twitter. Formerly what? Twitter. We are there at Catholic Vibes GH. And we're on TikTok as well. Catholics for social media. Right, so there's CSM. When we say CSM, we say vibes, right?
Okay.
CSM
Vibes.
All right, thank you.